Before the crowns, before the castles, before the words Your Majesty ever echoed through Britain's history, there was chaos. A land torn by warlords and tribes, where survival meant power and power meant blood. But out of this chaos came order. A single idea began to take shape, that one man could unite an island under one banner, one faith, and one throne. This is the story of how the British monarchy began, a 1,000-year journey from barbarian kingdoms to a symbol of global power and legacy. This is how the crown was born. Long before kings ruled England, the land was home to Celtic tribes, fierce, independent people led by chieftains. They had no central ruler, no crown, only loyalty to their clan and the gods of their land. Then, in 43 AD, came the Romans, led by Emperor Claudius. They conquered the south of Britain and built roads, forts, and towns. For nearly 4 centuries, Britain was a Roman province, disciplined, organized, and prosperous. But when Rome fell in the 5th century, its legions withdrew, leaving the island vulnerable once again. And in the vacuum of power, chaos returned. Waves of Germanic tribes, the Angles, Saxons, and Jutes, invaded from across the North Sea. They divided the island into 7 small kingdoms known as a heptarchy: Wessex, Mercia, Northumbria, East Anglia, Kent, Sussex, and Essex. These kingdoms were constantly at war, each vying for dominance. But among them, one began to rise: Wessex, under a man history would call Alfred the Great. Through strategy, faith, and fire, Alfred defended his land against Viking invasions and laid the foundation for a unified England. Alfred the Great, who ruled from 871 to 899 AD, became the first ruler to call himself King of the English. He was not just a warrior, but a visionary, establishing schools, writing laws, and translating sacred texts. Under Alfred and his descendants, England began to take shape, not as 7 kingdoms, but as one. In 1066, everything changed. The English king died without an heir, and 3 men claimed the throne. Among them, William, Duke of Normandy. He crossed the sea with thousands of men, met the English army at Hastings, and changed history forever. William the Conqueror won the battle, crowned himself King William I, and brought Norman customs, language, and architecture. From that day on, England's monarchy was reborn, not as a tribal crown, but as a European dynasty of power and law. For centuries, kings ruled with divine authority, but power breeds resistance. In 1215, the barons forced King John to sign the Magna Carta, a document that said even the king was not above the law. This was the first spark of democracy, the beginning of constitutional rule. Dynasties rose and fell: the Plantagenets, the Tudors, and the Stuarts. England's monarchy evolved, from rulers of men to symbols of the nation. When Elizabeth I died childless in 1603, the crown passed to James VI of Scotland, who became James I of England, uniting the crowns of both nations. A century later, the Acts of Union, 1707, formally created the Kingdom of Great Britain, ruled by one monarch. And in 1801, with Ireland's inclusion, it became the United Kingdom, the nation we know today. Over time, kings and queens lost their absolute power. The Glorious Revolution of 1688 and the Bill of Rights made Britain a constitutional monarchy, where the monarch reigns but does not rule. Yet even without power, the crown endures. It stands as a symbol of continuity, unity, and identity, from Alfred the Great to King Charles III. Empires rise and fall, but the British monarchy remains. 1,000 years of power, faith, and legacy, born from chaos, forged by history and carried by the people. The question is, how long will it reign? If you found this story fascinating, hit like, subscribe, and join me again as we explore the untold stories that shaped our world.